Welcome back to NT Coins World. If you love collecting Washington quarters and want to learn about some of the most valuable and rare finds, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into two incredible Washington quarter dollar coins that you might have sitting in your collection. We'll explore their history, design features, mintage numbers, market values, notable errors, and why collectors seek them out. The two coins we'll be covering today are the 1971 Washington quarter dollar coin and the 1989 P Washington quarter dollar coin. So if you're ready to discover whether you have a hidden treasure in your pocket change, stick around until the end of the video. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to NT Coins World for more in-depth coin collecting videos. Now let's get started with our first coin. The 1971 Washington quarter was part of the long-running series first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By the early 1970s, the composition of the quarter had fully transitioned from the 90% silver version, which ended in 1964, to a copper-nickel-clad design. This change was driven by rising silver prices and the need for a more cost-effective material for circulating coinage. 1971 marked a period of economic transition in the US, with inflation beginning to rise and the demand for small denomination currency increasing. This quarter was struck at a time when people were shifting away from hoarding silver coins and adjusting to the newer clad coins that had been in circulation for several years. The 1971 Washington quarter retains the classic design by John Flanagan, which had been in use since 1932. Features a left-facing portrait of George Washington with the inscriptions "Liberty" above his head and "In God We Trust" to the left. The date 1971 is inscribed at the bottom, showcases a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing peace. Above the eagle, United States of America and E Pluribus Unum are inscribed, with quarter dollar at the bottom. This design remained largely unchanged until the introduction of the 50 state quarters program in 1999. The 1971 Washington quarter was produced at two major mint facilities: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 109,284,000 coins; Denver Mint, D mint mark, 258,634,428 coins. This high mintage means that 1,971 quarters are generally common in circulated grades, though high-grade examples are much harder to find. In circulated condition, most 1,971 Washington quarters are only worth face value. However, higher-grade uncirculated examples command a premium: MS-63, around $5 to $8, MS-65, $25 to $40, MS-67, rare, can exceed $300. Because the 1971 quarter was not struck in silver, it lacks intrinsic metal value but remains collectible in top conditions. Collectors always keep an eye out for error coins, and the 1971 Washington quarter has a few notable ones. Some quarters exhibit doubling on the obverse, particularly in Liberty and the date. These can fetch $50 to several $100 depending on the severity. These errors, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, can be worth $50 to $300. A portion of the coin's edge appears clipped, making it a sought-after error worth $50 or more. While not considered a rare coin, the 1971 Washington quarter remains popular due to its age and transitional period in U.S. coinage history. High-grade examples and error varieties make it an attractive coin for collectors seeking unique finds. 1971 Washington quarter dollar coin. Historical context. The 1971 Washington quarter was minted at a time of economic and political change in the United States. The early 1970s saw inflation rise, and the cost of producing coins became a concern for the U.S. Mint. This was just a few years after the U.S. had completely removed silver from circulating quarters in 1965, switching to a copper-nickel-clad composition. During this time, the Washington Quarter remained an essential part of everyday commerce. The design had been in use since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1971, this coin was widely circulated, but certain varieties and errors make this year's quarter particularly valuable to collectors today. Design features. The obverse of the 1971 Washington Quarter features a familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. His right-facing bust is accompanied by the word Liberty above, the date 1971 below, and the national motto, In God We Trust, to the left. The reverse showcases the heraldic eagle design, also by Flanagan. The eagle is depicted with outstretched wings clutching arrows in its talons, with an olive branch below. The inscriptions include United States of America at the top and A Pluribus Unum above the eagle, with $quarter inscribed at the bottom. This classic design remained unchanged until 1999, when the 50 state quarters program began, replacing the heraldic eagle with state-specific designs, mintage, and mint marks. In 1971, Washington quarters were struck at two different mints: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 109,284,000 minted; Denver Mint, D mint mark, 258,634,428 minted. No quarters were minted at the San Francisco Mint for circulation in 1971. However, the San Francisco Mint did strike proof quarters, which were sold to collectors in special sets. Market value and collectability. The 1971 Washington Quarter is generally common in circulated grades, but higher grade specimens and certain varieties can fetch high prices. Here's what you can expect in terms of value. Circulated condition, 25 cents to $2. Uncirculated, MS 60 to MS 65, $5 to $50. Gem condition, MS 66 plus, 150 to 300 plus. Proof versions, deep. Cameo, 50 to 500 plus coins with full luster. Minimal marks and strong strikes will command the highest premiums. Notable errors and varieties. Some of the most valuable 1971 Washington quarters are error coins. Here are a few key varieties to look out for. 1971 Doubled Die Obverse, DDO. Some coins show noticeable doubling in the inscriptions, especially in Liberty and the date. These can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on the strength of the doubling. Off-center strikes. Quarters struck off-center by 10% to 50% are highly desirable, with values ranging from $50 to over $500. Clipped planchets. Coins missing a portion of their edge due to a planchet cutting error can bring $30 to $150. Wrong planchet errors. Some 1971 quarters were accidentally struck on nickel or dime planchets, making them extremely rare and valuable. Collector interest. The 1971 Washington Quarter is a great find for collectors, especially in high grades. Many numismatists seek out rare error coins and well-preserved specimens. Because the coin was issued after the removal of silver, it isn't as valuable in melt value, but certain varieties and high-grade examples still make it a sought-after collectible. The 1989 P Washington Quarter comes from an era of widespread coin production in the United States. By the late 1980s, the Washington Quarter had firmly established itself as the standard 25-cent piece, with its copper-nickel composition making it both durable and cost-effective. During this time, the U.S. Mint was producing large numbers of coins to meet the increasing demands of commerce. The 1989 P Quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which played a crucial role in supplying quarters for the eastern U.S. The P Mint mark indicates its origin from Philadelphia, which had only started using the mark on quarters in 1980. Like previous Washington quarters, the 1989 P follows the same design by John Flanagan. Features: George Washington's profile with Liberty inscribed above, In God We Trust to the left, the date 1989 below, and the P mint mark next to the hair tie displays the iconic bald eagle perched on arrows with olive branches beneath. The inscriptions include United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. The Philadelphia Mint produced a massive 512,868,000 quarters in 1989, making it one of the more common Washington quarters from the decade. The sheer volume of coins means that circulated examples are widely available. Because of its high mintage, the 1989 P Washington quarter is not particularly rare in lower grades. However, high-grade examples can still fetch a premium. Circulated examples, typically worth face value: MS-63, around $3 to $6. MS-65, $15 to $25. MS-67, scarce, over $500. Well-struck, high-grade specimens with strong luster are sought after by collectors. Despite its common status, the 1989 P quarter has a few known errors that can increase its value. Some coins exhibit doubling on the lettering, particularly in Liberty. Values can range from $50 to several $100. A 10 to 20% off center strike can bring in $75 to $200. If a coin is missing the outer nickel layer, revealing the copper core, it becomes highly collectible and can be worth over $200. The 1989 P Washington quarter may not be a key date, but it remains important for collectors looking to complete their Washington quarter sets. High-grade and error varieties provide opportunities for collectors to find unique and valuable specimens. 1989 P Washington quarter, dollar coin, historical context. The 1989 P Washington quarter was minted during a period of technological advancements in coin production. By this time, the US Mint had significantly improved its processes, leading to higher quality strikes and fewer major errors. However, some rare varieties and misstrikes still make certain 1989 P quarters highly valuable. This year's quarter was part of the ongoing Washington Quarter series, which had been circulating since 1932. The demand for quarters remained high due to their widespread use in vending machines, payphones, and everyday transactions. Design features. The 1989 P quarter retained the same John Flanagan design used since 1932. Obverse, the right-facing bust of George Washington with Liberty at the top, in God We Trust on the left, the date 1989 below, and the P mint mark for Philadelphia just behind Washington's hair. Reverse, the heraldic eagle clutching arrows with an olive branch below. The inscriptions include United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. Mintage and mint marks. The mintage figures for the 1989 Washington quarter were as follows: Philadelphia Mint, P mint mark, 512,868,000 minted Denver Mint, D mint mark, 896,535,597 minted, San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. Proofs: 3,220,194 minted. Market value and collectability. The 1989 P quarter is common in circulation, but in uncirculated and error varieties it can be quite valuable. Circulated condition, 25 cents to $1. Uncirculated, MS-60 to MS-65, $5 to $30. Gem condition, MS-66 plus, $100 to $500 plus proof. Versions, $10 to $150 plus. Notable errors and varieties. Some key error varieties include 1989 P double die obverse. DDO, look for doubling in Liberty and in God We Trust. These can sell for $100 to $500 plus. Off-center strikes. 10% to 50% off-center strikes can fetch $50, $300, struck on wrong plancher. Some quarters were struck on nickel planchers, making them extremely valuable. Collector interest. While common in circulation, uncirculated 1989 P quarters and rare error varieties are highly collectible. Numismatists seek them for their condition, rarity, and investment potential. Both the 1971 and 1989 P Washington quarters have fascinating histories, and rare varieties can be worth big money. Always check your coins carefully. Who knows? You might have a hidden gem in your collection. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and comment below. See you in the next video on NT Coins World.